the Detroit Pistons, man, I'm not gonna lie. I love what they're bringing. I love what the Detroit Pistons are bringing. I love the energy. I love the toughness. I love the attitude. And I'm thinking back when Cade and Shaq was having that conversation about Jalen Green, like he knows what's up. Bro, Cade's up, dog. Cade is really next man up. I don't know if you guys been paying attention to the preseason at all, but bro, this dude Cade. I'll put off some stats for y'all. I'll give y'all some stats so that way you guys are aware. You guys are aware of what's going on, right? But in preseason, bro, this dude, I get it. It's just preseason. But, bro, you can't deny, like, this is crazy impressive. The man in 19 minutes, right, in each game. The first game he played, only 19 minutes, 24-3. Like 20 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds on like 72-66. Insane. Then against Milwaukee, almost the same exact thing. 26, 6, and 6 on 57-40, right? And, even watching the games, man, I'm not watching all of it, right? But, just getting a few glimpses here and there, seeing Cade and what's happening. It's like every year you can see the improvement from him and you can see how more comfortable he is getting in the NBA setting. And, I think the key part here for this year is really going to be strength for him and how much he worked and his strength to be able to, finish through contact a bit more. But, dog, I've always been high on Cade. I compare Cade Cunningham a lot to Luka Doncic because they play just very similar to me. Bigger guards, mad patient, great feel for the game. Definitely can rush into shots, but definitely love to take their time in dissecting their opponents and even the defense. And they just let the game come to them a lot of the time. Cade more than Luka, but it's very good to see and how they're both able to play. And man, he averaged like 26 to like 27 and 9 last year. Man, Zeno Knight, join the Cade Glaze, because this is definitely, we talked about the Victors, we talked about the Lukas, we talked about all these other guys stepping up for the league, your Ant-Mans and Shea. Bro, people aren't talking enough about Cade Cunningham being one of those guys that's about to take over the league, fam. I truly believe that. I truly believe Cade Cunningham is going to be one of those players that's going to be taking over the league. Everyone's going to they're going to like his, I guess we could say, aura. They're going to like his attitude. They're going to like his grittiness, right? Because Cade, if we're going to be honest, right, Cade is I wouldn't be like lockdown. He's a solid defender, right? So he's like one of those, the better offensive players in the game that's like a solid defender, him and Shea, right? And he has a very complete game. He has a very complete game, high passing IQ, just high IQ in general. And he's, with his size, he's able to, match that with some of the defense there that a lot of these other guys who's are the best offensive players don't really have like that. Trae Young, Luka, Jokic, right? They definitely have that inherent flaw. Even though Cade, I want to be like, he's a lockdown, and I think he could get taken advantage of depending on who it is. It's not as worse as everyone else. And, yeah, Cade, strictly Pistons, you're right. Like, Cade not a dude that's over here, flopping. He's really just trying. He's a hooper, dog. It's like Ant-Man. When I watch Ant-Man, like him and Ant-Man is like, they're just hooper, fam. I still remember the hate he was getting in 23-24, even though he was. So, yeah, Zeno Knight, I thought Cade was being criticized unfairly that year. I was actually one of the main people defending him, mainly because I kept telling people, like, with Cade, ever since he got drafted, he's Asor Thompson. What shooters did they have on the team? You had Isaiah Stewart running the 4. Isaiah Stewart being one of your 3-point shooters, dog. That's what y'all had. That's literally what you guys had Cade Cunningham playing in next to in his first couple seasons. And then y'all surprised, his percentages aren't really that great. I keep telling people this all the time. I said, stats are a product of 2 things: who you are and who your team is. It's both. The stats are a product of you and your situation. It's not just one. It's both. every single time. Allen Iverson's a good example of this. Cade Cunningham's a good example of this. Even Kevin Durant, we could say, a great example of this. KD had his best efficient years with who? The Golden State Warriors. Now, KD was a great player, great, highly efficient player, but even his situation maximized that. You feel me? So even Cade being on like one of the worst spaced lineups in the league, could we even say league history? Like, that was a really bad crew. Killian Hayes, Marcus Sasser, like, bad lineups. So last year, the Pistons got some not like amazing three-point shooting, but they make them actually a subpar three-point shooting team. Maybe you can even say maybe a little bit above average, some spacers around him. And look what he was able to do. Higher percentages, higher points, and just a more effective and efficient game. So last season, right, with them actually improving their lineup a bit, bro, this is you're really seeing what Cade could have been doing. I thought he was being able to do that in his second year. But now with the team that he had, he was able to do it in his third year, right? Third or fourth year. I forget which year he's in. And then this year, I think it's just one and the same. I think Cade and his flaws a bit last season was, he's not flopping. He avoids contact, which is good. Like, I think it's good because he's not one of those guys that's just trying to run into contact to get the foul. He's avoiding contact and trying to finish through traffic, which I do admire. But there are some times, man, I'm not going to hold you. Like, you got to get that foul, dog. You got to get to the line. To me. But I understand that, like, he's like a hooper. Like, if you're a hooper, like, it's like a park hooper, right? You're not really just going in there trying to call a foul every time, bro. You trying to hoop and you trying to avoid it as much as possible. I think Kyrie Irving's also a great example of that too. So Cade reminds me a bit of that, and I do believe if he worked on his strength a bit more to be able to finish through those contact layups and those tough finishes, we'll be able to see him on a next level. But dog, like, Cade and Shay, like, you brought it up, like the second, third, the Pistons will be legit contenders. The Pistons are making strides too. Like, it's not just Cade. I think the Pistons have done a good job in the last couple of seasons of improving the lineup. I'm not going to be like they're title contenders or like they're going to, be upsetting anybody. Well, maybe they could. They could upset some people, but I don't know about all the way to like a championship run. Nah, but I do like what the Pistons have been doing. I do like the roster that they've been acquiring. And did Malik Beasley come back? I know he was getting in trouble for that freaking that's the gambling stuff that he got found innocent of, and then he got robbed of the bag. Crazy. I'm not gonna hold y'all. A little segue here. What they did to Malik Beasley is actually criminal. If I'm Malik Beasley, I'm looking to sue them. They robbed that man of a paycheck. They literally robbed that man of a paycheck. All that bull crap that he had with the supposed gambling stuff literally ruined his free agency. Ruined it. Yeah, I felt so bad. That was terrible. And he was guilty. That's crazy. And Malik Beasley, like, I'm not trying to say like Malik is like amazing, right? But Malik as a three-point shooter for the crew, I think is valuable for the Pistons, right? I do think they still need that. But I think, even though Tobias getting older, he was kind of shaky last year, I think he's still a bit of a shooter that still needs to be respected. They got Karis LeVert. They still got Jalen Duran. Jaden Ivey's not bad to me, too. I like Jaden Ivey. They acquired Duncan Robinson. And, Asor Thompson can't shoot like that, but I think Asor Thompson is like a phenomenal defender. He's like a phenomenal defender, right? So I like what they're doing, man. I like what they're doing. Dang, Duncan Robinson's 31. Where has the time gone? My goodness. Duncan Robinson is 31? Hey, I remember when he was a young boy in Miami back in 2020. He's 30. Well, he was an old rookie. He was an old rookie. So we got to be honest about that. But I think the Pistons in the last couple of seasons have been doing pretty well. So I'm very excited to see what they can be. I'm very excited what they can do. And I don't know. Can they make a run? Can they not? I'm not sure. All I do know is Cade Cunningham, that dog's going home. I do believe if the Pistons are like top 4, top 4 in seeding or 5. We could go top 4, top 5. What's his name? Cade will be like top 5, top 6 in MVP voting, without a doubt in my mind. You know? So Cade, listen, I'm all for it, bro. This year, I want to just uplift these young guys. We got to start talking about these guys more. You know, Ant-Man, everyone talks about Ant-Man. Everyone talks about Luka. Everyone talks about Shea. Shea actually, he's like, they're in his prime, but they're still young. They're talking about all these guys, man. Cade Cunningham, that's another one. Paolo or Franz or both, that's going to be another duo that's going to be nice on the Magic, right?